Far Cry 3 originally released back in 2012, and it's one of those games that I distinctly remember playing way back in the day. So many details from this game stood out to me, whether the game scared me or solidified a memory of a mission or area. The big one for me is when you get to burn the weed fields and jam out the Skrillex. Every single time I think of Far Cry 3, that is the mission that first comes to my mind. But Far Cry 3 is honestly one of the only Far Cry games I've ever played. But I recently realized that all of the Far Cries are available on PlayStation Plus. And I've never even really made an attempt to play them, and I actually own them physically also. And they're just sitting on my shelf and I've never really tried to play them. But in a few of my previous videos, I talked about playing Far Cry 6, and honestly, that's true. I did sit down for about 2 hours and I got 2 trophies in, and something just didn't feel right. I couldn't really get into the game, and I said before I wasn't sure if it was because I was too busy or just wasn't getting into the game, but I realized something. I wanted to play these games in order of their release and get a platinum on each of them and eventually make a video talking about all of them. So I downloaded Far Cry 3 first to start off the journey. Now, playing through all these is not going to be something I do within a month, but it is going to be one of my goals for halfway through the year to be done with this. So at least by August, I would like to be finished with the whole series. Because I still do have other games that I want to play, and other games that are currently releasing that I still want to play also. I'm currently running through my first playthrough of Dead Rising and trying to get a platinum trophy on that. But anyways, my name is Mitch and welcome to GamerRN. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like button, comment any game suggestions you want to see me platinum or 100%. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe, it really helps me out. So sit back, grab a snack, and enjoy the video. To start off the platinum journey, I started off by looking up a guide on PlayStation trophies, which said the platinum would take about 25 hours to achieve all 44 trophies. In a few more of my recent platinums, I have tried to do a lot better about listening to the guides and what they suggest. Basically, finish the story, get a few miscellaneous trophies along the way. Once the story is done, just clean up the remaining ones that you have left, and focus on the collectibles. Now, I decided to give myself roughly a week to finish this game. Normally, anything over 20 hours, I'll give myself about 2 weeks or more, just because of all the unknowns with life that goes on. Because I'm not sure how much time I'll actually have to play during a week to be able to complete a game. But like I said, I've played this game about 3 times previously, so I have a pretty good handle on it. So I was okay with giving myself 7 days. I started playing this game on a Friday night after my daughter went to bed and my wife was at work, so I knew I wanted to jump straight in and get as much as I could done. So we start off the journey by being introduced to Jason Brody and his brother Grant. We also learn about our other friends within the group after being introduced in the beginning of the video via a video that was being shown to us. This is where we'll be introduced to Voss, basically the villain of the first half of the game. If you've never played this, then I'm sorry, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but unfortunately, you don't let this guy stick around for the entire game. You'll notice that you're tied up and got kidnapped along with your brother Grant. Grant manages to break free and take down the guard that is posted to watch us. Next, making our escape, we will essentially learn how to play the game. Eventually, Voss catches up to us, and Grant is killed, and we start running into the forest. Eventually getting jumped by one of the pirates and fighting him off, we manage to collect our first trophy, First Blood. And with that, it locks us into our run of Far Cry 3. Which means no matter what now, I have to finish this game. Next, after falling into the river and being discovered by Dennis, we start working on our journey to take down Voss. While learning about this world, I ran into a crocodile in the wild and I shot it until it went down, and eventually I collected the trophy Hunter Hunted. Continuing on with the story, I eventually met Dr. Earnhardt, who would be assisting me and my friends in hiding them from the pirates. But for now, he had rescued Daisy and he needed some mushrooms in order to help treat her fevers. After retrieving those mushrooms and making it back to him, I unlocked the next trophy, Magic Mushroom. Then while exploring some of the map, I ended up in a pirate outpost and I actually took the whole thing without triggering a single alarm, which unlocked the trophy Unheard. After finishing the outpost, I managed to get enough skill points and unlock 5 different skills for the trophy Inked Up. I also accepted a Wanted Dead side quest and completed it for the trophy In Cold Blood. I also went on the quest to hunt a bear with a shotgun and collected the trophy Bagged and Tagged, which I got by completing a Path of the Hunter quest. Now, since I actually completed both of these side quests and got their trophies, I don't actually have to do any more of them. At this point, I can ignore them and focus on the story, and the only reason I would have to go back and do more is if at the end of the game I end up not having enough experience to get all the skill points to unlock all the skills. I started focusing on hunting some animals within the game, and I will say this used to be and is still one of my favorite aspects of this game. I loved being able to go out and hunt. It definitely had its difficulty at the beginning, especially since your guns do hardly any damage to the more predatory animals, like the tigers and leopards, because they do so much damage to you and you do such little damage to them. But after some time, I managed to craft 5 different upgrades for the trophy Artsy Crafty. On the way to the next story mission, I managed to liberate 3 outposts in total for the trophy Rebel with a Cause. I started working towards the main story again and eventually rescued Liza from a burning building for the trophy Worst Date Ever. I eventually unlocked 50 different entries within the survival guide after meeting a few more characters within the story for another trophy. After one of the story missions, I was able to complete a supply drop quest similar to the Wanted Dead and Hunter quest. I won't have to complete another one of these unless I have to do it, but I did manage to collect the trophy Road Trip. I then managed to meet Citra, who was the leader of the rock yacht, and she allowed me to complete the initiation, and I became one of their people and got the trophy One of Us. After finding more enemies and tagging them with my camera, I collected another trophy, Island Paparazzi, for tagging 25 enemies with the camera. I had also been crafting syringes, and eventually, after crafting 25 in total, I got the trophy Needle Exchange. I started completing the radio towers and eventually finished 9 of them for the trophy Full Bars. Doing all the radio towers meant I was given some guns for free, which meant I didn't have to buy them and I could just focus on buying attachments and paint jobs for the ones that I wanted. So that's what I did, and I eventually spent $5,000 and collected the trophy Money to Burn. Next, I wanted to keep progressing the story, and I got a tip about my friend Oliver, who was getting sold off. So I found out where the deal was going to be hosted, and I managed to make my way there and started blasting. And thankfully, Oliver was smart enough to grab a boat and come pick me up. After the mission was finished, I collected the trophy Hands Off My Stoner. Eventually I met Buck, and I learned he had my friend Keith hostage and was using him. You know, even now, almost 15 years later and I'm damn near a grown adult, I still find this guy creepy as hell. But anyways, I was going through different ruins and trying to find a knife for him. In exchange, I would receive Keith. In one of the ruins, I managed to use a zipline and jump off and perform a takedown on an enemy for the trophy. Never saw it coming. Eventually finding the knife, I took it back to Buck, who decided he didn't want to let me leave either, and he was going to try to keep both Keith and I now. So after some quick time events and eventually taking him down, I got Keith back to the cave with the rest of the group, and I collected the trophy Retake Wall Street. Next, I tried helping Citra's people and I ended up getting captured by Voss. And I managed to get away after he left me for dead. But of course, as I tried to get away again, I got shot, but somehow, thankfully, the lighter in my pocket stopped the bullet from penetrating my heart. But since I survived the whole endeavor, I got the trophy Have I Told You? After this, I was pissed, and I swam to Voss's island and stormed the fort to take down the pirates and eventually found Voss, and I took him out too. Which got me the trophy, Taken for Granted. I see what they did there. After this, I had a bunch of money, and I had taken a big liking to the starting out rifle, so I actually purchased all the attachments and paint jobs for it, and got the trophy Aftermarket Junkie. After Voss had been killed, it was decided by Citra for me to kill Hoyt, which was actually the man in control of Voss. But Hoyt had his own private military, with guys who were actually trained. Plus, they had way better equipment than Voss did. But they still wouldn't stand a chance against me. First thing we had to do on our journey to killing Hoyt was find a way onto his island that doesn't involve swimming in shark-infested waters. So I had reached out to my CIA contact on the island who had helped me throughout the story. I found out he was leaving the island and heading out to Russia, I think. He offered to fly me over Hoyt's island, but I would have to get there myself, so he gave me a wingsuit which I used to reach the northeastern beach and make my way to the first town. But when I landed, I got the trophy, Higher Than a Kite. I also managed to start using the bow a lot more since it was way more useful in hunting, but also just overall in being stealthy. But while exploring the island and trying to take over some outposts, I managed to hit a shot with the bow over 70 meters away, which got me another trophy. I met this guy named Sam, and Sam was an American informant who had inserted himself into Hoyt's privateers. His goal now that he met me was to help me kill Hoyt, First order of business was to steal a uniform so I could blend in with the privateers. But then I needed to somehow get close to Hoyt and find a way to make him trust me. So what did I do? I found out there was traitors among his ranks that were stealing money and opportunities from him, and I took them all out and brought him a list of names of more people. Hoyt still didn't fully trust me, so he had me interrogate a prisoner for him. Yeah, it turns out that prisoner was my little brother Riley. I was told Riley was dead, so this was a huge surprise. During the interrogation, though, Riley gave me the okay to make it realistic, so that way Hoyt would believe me. But I made a promise to come back for him. But that was already the plan, especially since I knew he was alive now. But I did manage to get the trophy for interrogating Riley, deep cover. Also, while trying to sabotage Hoyt's plans, I somehow managed to take out 4 privateers with 1 grenade and got the trophy, Love the Boom. I also finally sat down with Sam and Hoyt for a poker night since he finally trusted me. But turns out he found out I was Jason Brody, the man who killed Voss, and was now ruining his operation. Hoyt took out Sam before I could even react, and I was being held down by 2 privateers. Instead of ending everything, he offered me a job and then proceeded to cut off my finger. After this, it triggered a QTE event, but I managed to take out Hoyt as well as all the other privateers in the building. With Hoyt now gone, I got the trophy poker night. But before I killed him, he did manage to tell me that Riley was getting sold off. Now that everything was done and everyone was gone, all that was left was to go save Riley before he got sold off to anyone. I made my way to the airstrip, receiving a phone call from Liza saying that everyone was getting kidnapped. And I didn't really have time to focus on that, so I hung up and I was focusing on getting Riley back first. After getting Riley and stealing a helicopter, we went back to the doc's house to find it burned down. And that's when we went to Citra and attended the final ceremony and got the trophy, What a Trip. With that, I was finally done with the main story. And if you were curious about my decision, I chose to save my friends. Now that the story is done, it's all about cleaning up the rest of the miscellaneous trophies. First thing I did was find a hunter quest for a rare animal and completed that and got the trophy, Poacher. Next up, I threw on the repair tool and a flamethrower since both of those have trophies locked behind them. I managed to take down one of Voss's pirates with the repair tool and got improper use. Next, I tried going for the more simpler, less grindy trophies, and I said hello to the Lost Hollywood Star and got say hi to the internet. Real quick, there are a few grindy trophies in this list, 2 of them being that you have to collect 60 relics and 20 letters. The reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of the extra trophies I got happened while I was actually grinding for these ones. So, while diving for a relic, I managed to get the trophy Fearless or Stupid for diving over 60 meters deep. Next, I decided to go waste away all my money on poker, and eventually after some time, I collected the trophy Poker Bully for collecting over 1,500 in winnings. Also, while grinding the remaining 10 to 15 outposts, I managed to take out my 50th enemy with the flamethrower for the trophy Heartless Pyro. Also, while grinding out relics, when I finally collected 30 of them, I got access to my first special syringe. After some time in collecting the remaining leaves I needed to craft it, I got the trophy The Good Stuff. I finally managed to liberate all the outposts within the game and collected the trophy Island Liberator. This also meant I managed to get access to all the memory cards since you could only find them in outposts. Since I collected all 20 of them, I got the trophy Memory to Spare. After a couple hours of grinding, I finally collected all 60 relics I needed and got the trophy Archaeology 101. Along the way, I found my final letter that I needed and got the trophy Dead Letters. I had enough skill points to fully upgrade. However, I had one skill still locked due to me not completing 3 different supply drop quests. Once I finally finished those, I finally unlocked the final skill and got fully inked. Now I'm only 2 trophies away from the platinum. Both were fairly easy trophies, but one of them was going to be more time consuming. So I started off by finding an area with pirates and kept throwing rocks to distract them, until I got the trophy, Rock Always Wins. I'm super surprised I didn't get this way earlier in the story. But I guess I didn't really focus on distracting any enemies and I just kinda took them out. Then came the final trophy, where I needed to free fall over 100 meters and live. But the issue was, I tried multiple times in multiple different spots and couldn't get it to pop. This realistically shouldn't even have been the last trophy, but I had tried already multiple different times to attempt this trophy. Being unsuccessful, I was frustrated and left it till last. I even tried to do it without jumping or running, just like everyone in the comments on multiple different videos said. Just walking off of cliffs didn't work. I even tried going off with paragliders and dropping myself into the ocean, but no luck. Until I finally found a video with a brand new spot that I hadn't seen before, and I gave it a try, and I dropped into a river, and it finally popped. Free fall. Now with that last trophy, the platinum trophy finally popped. Mastered the jungle, and we were finally done. So what did I think of Far Cry 3? How was the platinum? Was it just as fun as before? Truthfully, yes, I had just as much fun with this game now as I did when I was younger. This game definitely has aged pretty well too. It didn't feel clunky or have these awful movement mechanics. I genuinely enjoyed going back and revisiting this one. I can't wait to dive into more of them in the series, especially since I missed playing so many of them. The platinum itself wasn't that bad either. A majority of the trophies will be collected throughout the story, or just while you play. Even the ones you have to grind for can be a little bit tedious, but it wasn't anything game-breaking that made me want to quit. But it definitely was getting me at some point. But realistically, I think it took me 28 hours and the guide said roughly 25, so it wasn't that bad. Or that much more. I completed the platinum within about 4 days' time, so I'm pretty happy with that. I managed to beat it before my 7-day deadline. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, thank you for sticking it out. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like button. Comment any games you want to see me platinum or 100%. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you want similar content to this, feel free to check out my channel. And I'll see you in the next one.